Hi, my name's Henri Brocklebank. I'm from the Sussex Wildlife Trust, and I'm really sorry not to be able to join you in person at your AGM today, so I've made this recording instead. Primarily, it's to say thank you so much for agreeing to support the Sussex Kelp Restoration Project. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the project, and if you've got any questions, do pass them on to Liz, and I will endeavour to get answers to you. So, the Sussex Kelp Restoration Project. So you have no doubt heard about the bylaw. In the 1980s, we had extensive kelp forests, particularly recorded off the west coast of Sussex. And these have been absolutely decimated in the intervening decades. Until now, we only have 4% of the kelp remaining. It's an unbelievable ecological tragedy that this has happened in such a short period of time. And we have this chap here, Eric Smith, who's a local freediver who has been diving in these waters since the 1950s and has been trying to raise the alarm of what was happening as a result of trawling for many, many years. But we are delighted that as a result of the pioneering work of the Sussex IFCA, that the bylaw process was put in place for the first bylaw that is looking at a whole ecosystem approach to fisheries management in nearshore waters. And when the bylaw was agreed unanimously by the IFCA board, the Sussex Kelp Restoration Project, then called Help Our Kelp, had an amazing film made by Big Wave Productions, which I'm sure you've seen, which is narrated by David Attenborough. And this demonstrated the huge support from the general public, 2,500 people writing into Sussex IFCA saying, we really, really support this bylaw. So we now, as of late March 2021, have the bylaw in place. And this blue area here now shows where trawling is now excluded from our Sussex nearshore waters. So there has been a big focus on the West Sussex area because this is where we had the best records of the previous extent of the kelp, but the bylaw does extend all the way across East Sussex as well. And it fits in completely with what has just started at about the same time, which is the UN Decade for Ecosystem Restoration. This is ecosystem restoration on a grand scale on our Sussex level. So let's see what we can achieve in 10 years. So the vision of the Kelp Restoration Project is to champion, study and facilitate the restoration of the Sussex kelp to support a thriving and sustainable marine ecosystem. It's really important to say this isn't just about kelp. There is, just as on land, you may have woodland, but you have all the scrub habitats, etc., associated with natural succession taking place. And so marine ecosystems are exactly the same. Kelp is a primary habitat that we're looking to see restored, but we know there's going to be other marine ecosystems restored as well. We're a group of organisations all working together, academics, local and national NGOs, Big Wave Productions, and also Adrian Worthing councils. And we're really excited to all be working together on this huge and wonderful ambition. Like all partnerships, we have a set of aims to understand the value of the kelp and the impact of the bylaw, to understand the role of kelp in the blue carbon cycle, to identify and minimise damaging impacts on existing and potential kelp habitat, to raise awareness of the importance of kelp as an ecosystem engineer, to scope and support active kelp restoration trials, and to communicate research, developments and progress in kelp restoration. It's really important to say there is no moves to have active kelp restoration. We don't even know if there's a necessity. So at the moment, this is all very much about giving nature a chance. So we know that kelp provides absolutely vital ecosystem services, vital nursery grounds, crucial habitats, productive and diverse ecosystems. The role of kelp globally is huge, and we really want to see it restored here in Sussex. I thought you'd be particularly interested in this short film, which is a recording of Clive Hills, who is one of the Bognor fishermen. They've recently relaunched a boat for fishing off Bognor, and are so supportive of the bylaw process. And I thought you might want to hear what he had to say.
Right,
So alongside working with fishermen like Clive, we've got a whole range of science and research that's been going on over the last 6 months. So here is a example of a sea search dive, which is a citizen science dive looking and recording kelp. We've got work going on with the universities. This is a baited underwater remote video that's going to go down. And here is just a small video of some of the stuff down there. So we are seeing small signs of the kelp returning, but this is very, very early days. I'm just going to talk a little bit about kelp and climate, because it's, following the IPCC report, every project is a climate project. We can't solve the climate crisis without restoring nature at scale. That's a fact. And the restoration of marine ecosystems is absolutely critical to this. Restoration to a fully functioning ecosystem, it's not just about the kelp. An increase in biodiversity and that bioabundance is just as important. It's really, really critical. So this is not just to support thriving and sustainable fisheries, but the full trophic range of marine life. We mustn't be naive to the risks to the Sussex kelp posed by our changing climate. And adapting to climate change. So functioning ecosystems will build resilience into our coastal ecosystems, so they're better to be able to respond to climate change. Potential for kelp to mitigate coastal erosion and flooding is demonstrated elsewhere. And greenhouse gas removal from the atmosphere. We know that kelp has got a key role in carbon capture and transfer in coastal ecosystems. However, it's not a carbon sink in the same way as salt marsh and seagrass. So we are doing research on that to understand carbon flows. So in summary, this is an ambitious and pioneering nature-based solution to restore our coastal ecosystems, biodiversity, food security, and climate. It's a really thrilling project, and we are really grateful for MeadowBlue for supporting the project into the next 3 years. And thank you very much. And again, I'm really sorry that I can't be there in person.